Hi, boys and girls. I have a book I'd like to share with you today. The title of this book is New Planet, New School. So, looking at the title and looking at the picture here, it looks like this is a fiction text. Looks like this is going to be about a little girl and her mom, and maybe even some sort of monsters back here. So, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to give me facts and information. It looks like this is going to be telling me a story. Let's get started. I'm wondering, before I do start, a little bit about what the story is going to be about. I'm wondering maybe if they're headed to not only a new planet and a new school, but it looks like these people don't maybe even belong on this planet. So this planet being with totally different people, characters than they're used to. All right, let's get started. I had a lot of friends back in my old school on my old planet. When the school year ended, though, my family moved across the galaxy to planet Zox. So it sounds like she had a lot of friends at her old school. Wonder how she feels about moving to this new planet. Let's see if we can find out. Oh, by the look on her face, I'm not so sure she's liking this. Planet Zox has species from so many different planets. Just walking down the street can be an adventure. So can going to the grocery store. Species being a lot of different types. All right, let's see what happens. Actually, I sort of like my new planet until it was time to start school. You can tell by the look on her face that she doesn't look too excited. I won't fit in, I complained to my parents that first morning. Nobody there will like me. They don't have to be like you in order to like you. Oh, I'm sorry. I said, nobody there will be like me. They don't have to be like you in order to like you, Mom said. It took me a minute to sort out that sentence. So Mom's saying that they don't have to be like her. Maybe, well, the picture we saw, they may be some sort of monsters or aliens, but she's saying they don't have to be like you in order for them to like you. So she's trying to comfort her and help her not to feel so bad, so scared. So right now, I'm beginning to think our problem in the story is going to be this little girl who is scared and worried about starting a new school. It always seems scary at first, but all the people I've known that have started new schools have ended up really liking it and making new friends. So hopefully she's going to like it and make new friends too. Once I got to school, I kept my eye out for other humans. So far, I don't see any. Let's see what happens. I spotted a few in the halls, but the only one in my class is Swiss Pumpernickel. When I walked in that first day, some of the students started to tease him. Oh, well, maybe this is the problem in our story. That doesn't seem very nice. Way to go, Pumpernickel. Looks like you finally got yourself a girlfriend, they said. Swiss Pumpernickel turned red, then glared at me as if it were my fault for being human. You're not being very nice to him. I wonder if she's going to step up and help him out. After that, nobody talked to me all morning. I looked for some humans to sit with at lunch, but they were all sitting with other species. So they were sitting with other type of people. Other type of monsters or aliens, not humans. I only found one table with any empty chairs. There, alone, sat one of my classmates, Hululiana. No, Hululialana. Hululialana. She was so wrapped up in her tentacles. See her tentacles here? Those arms reaching out, kind of like an octopus has tentacles. She was so wrapped up in her tentacles, I couldn't find her face. I approached with caution and spoke with great care. Hello, Hululialana, I said. Slowly, several arms lifted. Then one arm unwound itself, floated toward me through the air, and pulled out the closest chair. Maybe this is going to be her new friend. I took a seat. Thank you, I said. We looked at each other, then away. She began to wrap herself up again. "How's your first day going?" I asked quickly. Hulu-Lealana shrugged. "I think. I wish I were still at my old school," she said. "Me too," I said. She looked shocked, and I laughed. "I mean, I wish I were still at my old school," I explained. Not me too. They're laughing because Hulu-Lealana said, "I wish I were still at my old school." And she said, "Me too." But she didn't mean me too, I wish I was at your old school. She meant me too, I wish I was at my old school. So they laughed. So it seems like they're becoming friends. "At least you're not the only human," Hulu-Lealana said. "I'm the only Hulu." I thought for a moment. That makes you special," I said. "That makes me a freak," she said. "Well, let's be freaks together," I suggested. Then, for the first time, Hulu-Lealana smiled. From that day forward, school on Planet Zox has been pretty darn fun. All right, so back here's our glossary so we could look up any of these words that we were unsure of. Species is one we came across that you probably haven't heard of before. A group of living things that are physically similar and can reproduce. So species being a group of things that are alike. And the tentacles, those long, flexible limbs on an animal, especially an invertebrate, one without a vertebrae like we have in our back. All right, so now that I've read the story, let's get back to the beginning. We just read New Planet, New School. So now let's look at the written comprehension piece. So the first question is, what is the problem in the story and how is it solved? Use a detail from the story to help explain your answer. So I'm going to think of my main character. And when I think of my main character, the problem that I recall her having, her biggest problem, and right here is where they talked about it, is how she was really worried about not fitting into her new school. So I'm going to write, the problem in this story is that the main character, and I'm writing main character because they never told us her name. So the main character was worried about starting a new school. She didn't think she would fit in. And then I also need to answer the second part, which is how is it solved? So if we look back, at first she thought that she would look for other humans to be her friends. And that really didn't end up being the solution. The solution was finding someone else who felt very similar to her. And Hulu-Lealana was also worried about making new friends and really missing her old school. So they were able to kind of make that connection, and they became friends. So now you can see how well they're getting along, and this became a school that she loved to be at. From that day forward, it was a lot of fun. So she solved the problem by making friends with someone who knew how she felt. And from that day forward, school was fun. And it says use a detail from the story to help explain your answer. And I've already used 2 details from my story. I said she didn't think she would fit in. That's a detail right from the story. And down here I put from that day forward, school was fun. So I've already added 2 details to help support my problem and my solution. All right, so now let's look at the second written comprehension piece. And the second written comprehension piece says, explain how the main character feels about starting a new school. Use a detail from the story to help explain your answer. Now, We just talked about that as we talked about the problem in the story. So I'm going to go back to our problem. Let's see here. Our problem is here. She said, I sort of liked my new planet until it was time to start school. I won't fit in, I complained to my parents that first morning. Nobody there will be like me. So she doesn't say that she's worried. She doesn't say that she's afraid. But we can kind of see her face and know and know that that's how people feel when they're talking about not fitting in. That's kind of a fear of not being able to fit in. Or you could also talk about her being unhappy about starting this new school where she's not going to know anyone. I'm going to say the main character was worried about starting a new school. And then I'm going to use my detail by saying she was worried because she didn't think she would fit in there. What she didn't think, I guess I should say. She didn't think there would be anyone like her. And as you can see, that's really not the problem of the story of her not being able to, her being worried that she wouldn't fit in, that there wouldn't be anyone there like her, actually isn't what solved her problem. She set out to look for a human, someone that was like her, but that's actually not how the problem was solved, which is interesting. Her mom, sorry, I wanted to show you this part. Her mom says, they don't have to be like you in order to like you. And that's exactly what happened. If you look at the end where she has made this new friend, Hululialana wasn't like her, but they ended up having that special friendship and really making school fun together. All right, so that's one way or two written comprehension pieces to a fiction story. All right, you guys have a great day.